I'm Patrick Byers, Horticulture Field Specialist with University of Missouri Extension. Thank you for joining us for our video series, Practical Advice from Successful Farmers. Today the subject is business models.
So I'm Andre Gradinariu. I'm here at our family farm. Our family farm is called Gardner's Orchard and Bakery. We're located here in Brighton, Missouri. We are a direct-to-consumer farm and a farm market. We're providing our local customers with amazing fruits and vegetables that we grow here locally on the farm. So kind of like our business model. So everything we do grow here on our farm is available for you pick, from the strawberries to the tulips we grow in the spring, to the apples, to the pumpkins, to the blueberries and blackberries. So we open up our farm to the public. Public comes out here. We try to do an amazing job growing the beautiful products, and the local customers come out and enjoy a beautiful day here on the farm. With that, we've integrated and we add a lot of food here on the farm. So we're doing homemade pizzas, lemonades, kettle corn, cotton candy, fresh made hamburgers. My mom makes an amazing slushie with our fresh berries that we grow here on the farm. So that's kind of our overview of our goal is, as an operation, is selling directly to our consumers. So everything we grow here on our farm is sold directly to our customers. So being a U-Pick operation, we quickly realized that yes, growing fruits, specialty crops is a very profitable business to be in. The only issue we were seeing is, as farmers, we only have X amount of days out of the year to pay for the entirety of the year. So as a farm, you got bills to pay 12 months out of the year. If you're just a strawberry farm, for example, you only have 4 to 5 weeks out of the year to be able to save enough money to, pay your mortgage, your bills, and all of the other stuff out of the year. So then we were sitting down with the family. We were thinking, hey, we got to do something now. So we got to do something more to create a hype, a bigger operation than what just a strawberry picking is. So then we got to talking to other growers in the area and other growers around the area and the United States, and they're talking to us about charging an admission fee, doing more activities, starting to do food on the farm. And with that's where we came up with the idea, and the terminology is called agritourism or agritainment. So we're innovating farming with the tourism business. So families are coming out to our farm, coming out, picking fruit, enjoying that activity. We also have about 20 different activities here on the farm, from the jumping pillows to the mega slide to the tricycle tracks. So families come out to our farm for 4 to 5 hours at a time. So we're creating a whole day out of it. So with that, all that value added stuff, that's where we're able to provide more for the business and be able to stay profitable the entirety of the year instead of that 4 to 5 weeks out of the season. So thinking outside of the box and integrating with the tourism business, it's really helped us out, and it's helping us stay profitable and to continue to grow at levels where we should be growing. All right, so I'm gonna start off with our spring season. So the first crop we're growing in the spring is tulips. So this past season, we planted 50,000 tulip bulbs, and they're bloomed beautifully. So with that crop in particular, we're trying to extend the season as early as possible in the spring. So the idea of tulips came about, and we tried it a couple years ago. It turned out awesome. So now we are doing a tulip festival in the earliest part of the year. And with the tulips, it's a very interesting crop because the consumers aren't eating a product. So that was our hardest thing to realize is, on strawberries, folks are coming out here picking a berry, they're eating it, consuming it. But on tulips, we didn't understand how that's gonna work, but it's been an awesome turnaround. Tulips are a very short process. It's a very quick ROI. So we plant our tulips in November, they bloom in the spring, and then the season's done for. And then every year we're replanting new bulbs. So the tulips are just an amazing crop. They turned out amazing. You gotta have a very captive audience though. That's one thing we're learning now, is not everybody's gonna wanna come out to the farm with tulips. So you gotta create more of a festival style around it to make it work and make it profitable. So next on our list is strawberries. Here on our farm, we have about 3.5 acres worth of strawberries, and strawberries are a very well-known crop here in the Southwest Missouri region. There's a lot of farms who do grow strawberries, and strawberries in this area are absolutely amazing. With the strawberries, we've taken the approach with the festival base and festival style, and being part of the agritourism is it creates a lot of energy and a lot of momentum. And with strawberries, it's one of our most profitable crops. We do grow out in the field just because the square footage that you're planting on and the yields that we're getting with the newer varieties have just been amazing. So strawberries is an amazing crop. I say once I figure it out, it's fairly easy, but I'm a farmer. I'm still learning every day, new challenges, new diseases, different types of fertilizers that are coming out and different chemicals to spray. So you just got to have a wealth of knowledge to make it work, but it's possible. I've done it and it's amazing. And strawberries, like I mentioned, is one of our most profitable crops that we do grow in the fields. So now moving on to June, then we enter into blueberry and blackberry season. And blueberries and blackberries are a very interesting crop where they're amazing. People love them. One thing we've quickly realized is the shift from the strawberry season to the blackberry season. Blueberries and blackberries don't really have, I would say, the hype around it, mainly because in June and July here in Missouri, it gets 100 degrees and really hot and humid, and folks don't want to come spend 2 to 3 hours on the farm. They want to come out here, pick their blackberries and leave. So depending on what system you're trying to integrate in your farm, blackberries and blueberries do really well for us here on the farm, at the farm store and at the farmer's market. So we do grow quite a bit of blueberries. We have an acre of blueberries and an acre of blackberries. You just got to make sure you have multiple different avenues to sell your product, because we quickly realized that U-Pick, it does great with blueberries, but it's not as great as strawberries. So whenever that problem came along, we had to say, you know what, we're only going to do U-Pick X amount of days on blueberries and blackberries, pick the rest and some to the farm store, just because the heat of the summer, folks don't like to coming out, you know, they like to come out early. But whenever you have all the different food stations and lemonade and kettle corn open, then you got to have the employees that come in. So the logistical issue was a bit of a problem for us on our farm here. For other operations, if you're just doing blueberries and blackberries, there's very successful farms that are doing that. But for here on our farm, integrating with the agritourism, it was a little bit of a problem to figure out. But once we figured it out, we made it work. So farmers market are very, very profitable for the blueberries and blackberries. You just got to make sure you stay on top of it and make sure you're able to sell the product you are growing. So back to the summer crops, the crops that we do grow here on our farm, we do grow a lot of high tunnel tomatoes, and tomatoes are kind of near and dear to my heart because that's what I brought back to the farm whenever I was in college. And we did get all of our high tunnels through the NRCS High Tunnel Equip grant. So we're very thankful to those guys who helped us provide and help us get high tunnels here on the farm, and they've been amazing. Tomatoes are kind of a staple of our summer produce that we grow here, and our customers love our tomatoes. So the tomato varieties that we do grow, I think, have a big part to do with why our customers love them so much. So the varieties we do grow are Red Deuce and Carolina Golds. I'm not saying those are the best varieties, but they work for us. They have amazing flavor. The acidity levels are awesome. The sugar levels are awesome. So the way we grow the tomatoes, grow them all in high tunnels. We grow them on black plastic. One thing I learned early on is weeds love the high tunnels more than the tomatoes. So you got to stay on top of the weeds. One thing to keep in mind with tomatoes is they are like little kids. If you don't feed them, they don't grow. And that goes with all the crops here on our farm. But especially with tomatoes in the high tunnel, when it's not raining from up top, you got to be able to provide them plenty of water and plenty of fertilizer. And like I mentioned, they are a big part of our summer crops. And we do sell the tomatoes mainly here in our farm store, through the farm store and at farmers markets. The farmers markets are a big deal for us in the summer months. So tomatoes, that's how we do that. Now, as the agritourism has been increasing here on our farm, we're thinking about doing a couple of days of, like, towards the end of the tomato season, like a canning U-Pick something, just to get people out here to buy a box of tomatoes and see how that goes, to start canning them. And we're thinking about doing educational classes on how to properly can. And there's many ideas. If we go down that rabbit hole of ideas how to integrate here on the farm, it's endless. But tomatoes are still a big part of our summer crop. So a typical, July afternoon at the farmer's market, we'll have blueberries, blackberries. If we don't have our own peach crop, then we supplement peaches in, tomatoes, and we do grow a little bit of produce like zucchini and squash, just to make it, if we're going out to the farmer's market, at least try to sell some more. We also have the baked goods, but I'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, typical farmer's market day is very successful for us, and the farm market does awesome here on the farm. So one crop that has been a staple here on the farm is apples. Apples have been on this land since 1981. The previous owner, Cliff Plaster, he came out here and planted 20 acres of traditional apples, and him and his family, they ran the orchard, just apples and a few peaches for many, many years. Our family had the opportunity in 2013 to come purchase the farm from him and take it over. So apples have been the reason why we call this Gardener's Orchard. Apples are, I would say, they're a medium to difficult crop to grow depending on what varieties you're planting, what rootstocks. Now with the high density that we started implementing here on the farm, there's so many other variants that can go wrong or good for you. So apples aren't too difficult crop to grow. You just got to kind of know your research and keep on learning. One of the things I've been dealing with, like last year, we got hit really hard by a disease called fire blight, and just learning all about that, getting the sprays on time. So like I mentioned, apples are the reason why we're called Gardener's Orchard. They're a huge part. There's a lot of energy behind apples. So in the past couple of years, we've been integrating the apple picking with our fall festival. So September and October, we open with our Fall on the Farm. So in September is our apple month, so it's easy to promote. Everybody loves coming out to the orchard, picking a beautiful bag of apples, enjoying the day on the farm, and of course in the bakery we're selling our apple cider donuts. Those are absolutely amazing as well. But from the growing perspective, apples do produce a lot. So I would say overall, apples are one of the most profitable crops we do grow here on our farm, just because the way we integrate with our U-Pick, we are charging a premium for the apples that we are growing here on our farm. So in a normal year, you'll see around 1,000 to 1,200 bushels per acre. So we're selling them by the pound. So your numbers, your profit is really high on apples, just because the way we are selling them and how we integrate here on our farm. And like I said, we like to keep the orchard going just so we can keep the farm name going and the history, and respecting the ones that came before us and telling their story and how we took it over. But overall, apples are the most profitable crop here on our farm. So here comes October with pumpkins. In the last couple of years, we started planting a lot of pumpkins. I believe last year we had right around 10 acres of pumpkins. And like I mentioned, our fall festival has really taken off, where we're growing a lot of different varieties of pumpkins. And if we go down the rabbit hole of pumpkins with all the different varieties and the systems of growing, it's endless. And one thing I've realized here in our area is the best way to grow pumpkins is on plastic and drip tape, just because our summers have been so dry, our summers have been so hot that they need that water. And one of the things I've been learning is that you're able to integrate your pest management through your irrigation system, which makes it really easy for different bug issue that you're having. And of course, most pumpkins are not an edible crop. Some are like the winter squashes, but that's the nice thing about pumpkins is they kind of sell themselves. Every family in America goes to the pumpkin patch in the fall. So we kind of fill that void here in our area and creating that family fun around the October Fall Festival. So pumpkins is a very awesome crop we grow here on the farm. I would personally say they're one of the easier ones because they are an annual crop. So you plant in the spring, you harvest in the fall, and you start over every year. That's not the case in apples or any fruit trees, where you got to put them in the ground and they grow for many, many years and you got to tend to them. So pumpkins are a big part of our fall festival now. Like I mentioned, we did grow about 10 acres of pumpkins. We're looking to up that a little more this year. But pumpkins is the best crop for October. So in the past few years, one crop we've been integrating is U-Pick flowers. And this is one crop that I was totally against to plant, but me being the wiser person, I guess, and I'm willing to try. That's the thing about me, is even though I hate a crop, I'm still willing to try. So the funny story is, in 2021, I came back from a blackberry conference in Arkansas. I met my good friend now, and he was like, "Hey Dre, you got to plant some sunflowers and see how they go." And surprisingly, it brought out a whole new different customer base. And even though I hated flowers at the time, I was like, "Hey, we're on to something now." So during our fall festival in September and October, we are implementing the U-Pick flowers. So we're growing zinnias, marigolds, cosmos, all the different types of U-Pick flowers, annual flowers, and of course our sunflowers. So of sunflowers, if you're doing a sunflower festival, it has a lot of energy behind it, a lot of hype. So it's really easy to promote on our social media pages, and it brings out a whole new different customer base. And they come to our farm, they come pick flowers, and then let me go see what else they have. They come pick an apple, they come pick a pumpkin. So the whole entirety of the farm is integrated around the flowers now. So flowers have become a pretty big part of our fall festival. I would say when you look at the numbers and the profit versus losses and how much energy it takes, flowers are a very profitable crop. For example, like we planted an acre of zinnias this year. It only cost me about $500 to plant, and you'll be surprised how much profit we made off those zinnias. So flowers are starting to become a big part of our farm now. And with our farm and how we get integrated with the agritourism, having a lot of photo booths, having the chairs, just all kinds of different angles that you can shoot from the flowers and picking. So flowers, sunflowers, zinnias, and all kinds of U-pick flowers are a big part of our farming operation, and it makes us even more profitable. So now we're getting to my favorite part of the farm, is the food on the farm. So this is something we quickly realized when we added our bakery in 2016. We were just selling pastries and homemade bread. And during our spring strawberry season, we were selling donuts out of the wazoo. Like, hey, folks really enjoy eating a fresh strawberry donut, a fresh homemade Danish, or a pastry. So then we're like, you know what? Why don't we try to integrate more and more food here on the farm? So we are currently doing lemonades, kettle corns, cotton candy, freshly made hamburgers with local beef, homemade pizzas with homemade dough, homemade sauce, our fresh homemade berries and slushies. So food is a big part of our operation here. When you look at the numbers, I would say it's anywhere from 30 to 40% of our total. With that, it has its own challenges with the health inspections and being legal in your county you're in. But overall, it is worth it. You do need to have more employees. So we have more employees in our food areas than we do on the actual farming operation, but hey, that's just part of the restaurant industry. But the food is just awesome. It creates a lot of energy, and that's one thing about food, is it's got to be amazing. So all of our food is different from something you find in town, and that's one of the nice things that we have here on our farm, is we have a very captive audience. So whenever they walk through our gates, they don't go anywhere else. They're kind of stuck here, and with that, we're able to sell them our food products. So food has been an absolutely amazing part of our story here, and they make a big chunk of our change here on the farm. So it's a very profitable business model with the food. So we're very excited. We're going to continue to implement food and add more and more. Like I said, ideas are endless in this business. So you look at all the types of carnival foods, all the types of restaurant foods, it can be implemented here on our farm. Another big part of our farming operation here at Gardeners is our retail store, our farm store, and the exit barn. So with that, it's a very awesome where you're able to provide your customers with freshly made jams and jellies. So my mom is a canner. She makes her homemade apple butter, strawberry preserves, all kinds of good stuff. And with that, it's just the value added side of the farm, where let's say like last year we got hit by hail during our strawberry season. We went through, picked all our strawberries. Now, if we didn't have our canning facility, we had to throw those away or figure out another market. But we're like, you know what, let's just keep that in the house. We cooked them up. My mom does her magic there. And now we have our fresh strawberry jams, and her apple butter is amazing. So here on our farm, the retail space provides more of a consistent value added energy, where we're able to be open 6 days a week with our farm store. Folks come out to the farm, even if we don't have anything to pick, or if we're not open with the festival, folks can still come out and purchase something. So it creates that cash flow, more consistent cash flow the entirety of the season. So like our farm store, we open in the spring with bedding plants and flowers. And then we have all the produce we grow, all the fruit we grow the entirety of the summer. So the farm store is open April through October. So that's a big chunk of our farming operation. And it's the most valuable retail space we have here on the farm, just because if you calculate the square footage on the dollars you're making, it's pretty amazing. So if you can have a farm stand, a farm store, or a retail space, I would highly recommend it. And it creates a nice place. So if your customers come out to your farm when you're closed for U-pick, well, you say, hey, instead of, we don't have any strawberries today, but hey, let me get you interested in strawberry jelly. Let me get you interested in some baked goods. So it just creates a lot of good energy around it. So another big part of our farming operation is events and festivals. And with that in mind, that has become a very big part of our operation, where we do a big strawberry festival once a year. We do a big apple cider festival. So with that